I actually moved to Singapore a few months ago from Israel to help increase the footprint and keep developing the business for Spot by NetApp. I'm more than happy to be talking to you today about what is we're here to deliver, which is to facilitate a way to automate and optimize your journey into the public cloud and within the public cloud. Just about the presentation. So am I presenting? How exactly should this work?
Your intro slide is showing perfectly. So just proceed with the prezzo and then just choose the arrows to move your screen. Yep. Okay. So no. Yeah. I was just informed that we are doing the control. So please just give me a cue. My team will just what do you call that?
Okay. So I think yeah, we can start.
Yes.
I think we can start. The idea is
go
to
ahead.
Provide you a platform introduction. Let's just go ahead to the next slide.
Yes.
Okay, so just about NetApp, this is not the first session by NetApp, but just a glance about NetApp. NetApp is an industry-leading cloud data services company. We provide both on-premise, public cloud, hybrid cloud solutions. We work with all of the major hyperscalers and the biggest companies in the world. This is a NASDAQ publicly traded company. We have 90 offices in over 30 countries. I'm based out of the Singapore office, but we also have a local office in the Philippines. Next slide, please. Just about where Spot fits into the NetApp portfolio. So within NetApp, in the public cloud services portfolio, NetApp traditionally is the market leader in anything related to storage, enterprise application storage, both on-premise, in the cloud, or hybrid cloud. Spot by NetApp is a new branch of actually NetApp. It was acquired from a startup founded as Spot of 6 years ago. Spot right now within NetApp, what we focus on is compute space in the cloud native applications, in the public cloud. The idea is to help you to deliver infrastructure automation and optimization for all of your cloud compute infrastructure across the bigger hyperscalers, the biggest ones, which are AWS, Azure, and GCP. Next slide, please. Okay, so just a bit of numbers about what is going on right now in the cloud space. Everybody knows what was the COVID effect. One of the COVID effect was that now, even more than even a few years ago, all of the companies, or the majority of the companies, are actually expanding their cloud footprint. The idea is that the cloud is actually expanding, and it's growing by around 18 to 20% year over year. And by 2022, it should reach more than $360 billion. Next slide, please. This acceleration actually causing a lot of initiatives with specific companies in APAC, the CIOs. They said that basically they will have to onboard significantly more workloads into the cloud just because of the requirements. Right now, half of their cloud already, of their workloads right now, are either on the public cloud or they already want to put it in the public cloud. And when we talk about the effect, and actually the challenge, one of the main things that the CIOs are saying all over is that the cloud is actually costing them much more than they expected. When we talk about cost, it's two kinds of cost. When we talk about total cost of ownership, one of them is the actual bill from the hyperscaler. How much am I paying for my public cloud infrastructure? The second thing is OpEx related. How much time, money, and effort I'm actually investing in something that should have been effortless, because the whole idea of a cloud is that it's zero downtime, zero maintenance. You should just click a few buttons or write a few codes with your API, and you should be able to get access, but it's not really the case. Next slide, please. So why is actually to be efficient and optimized on the cloud is so difficult? And again, this is according to the CIO globally in this part of the world. I think the most important thing is that, first of all, it's a bit of lack in internal cloud expertise. The whole concept of the cloud, while it is adopting, it's relatively new. When we talk about companies that were founded more than 5, 6, 8 years ago, they still started as an on-premise environment. They were not cloud native and born in the cloud. And a lot of expertise are actually very, very different between running a data center on on-premise applications and running something in the cloud. Another thing is actually the architecture. In the previous discussion with Suze, we actually understand how companies right now, they have started with monolithic application, traditional applications to run everything on a single piece of infrastructure and software. It was probably hosted on-premise just on a data center by a company. And right now the transition is to move into more containerized environment, microservice environments, just because of the nature of the code and the nature of the new deployment and the DevOps space. When we combine both of those architectures, both of those issues, and especially combine it with the nature of the cloud, which is volatile, it's all the time growing and it's expanding. In some cases, it will scale down. It's all based on demand. This actually contributes to a lot of cloud wastage and also overspending. Another thing is that right now, because companies are trying to actually also control how much they're spending in the cloud, it means that a lot of the time and the effort that they usually invest to just innovate, to roll out, to scale, is also now to actually to better manage and more effectively manage the cloud cost, which is actually hurting their innovation and their business requirements. Next slide, please. So this is where Spot comes in. The idea of Spot by NetApp is that we provide a cloud optimization solution, and we work with public cloud customers. The most important thing is that what we do is we help them to automate, and as a result, also reduce cloud compute and the operational cost of their public cloud. The way we can actually help customers is threefold. The first thing is that we can help them to automate their cloud provisioning and consumption. On the public cloud, it could be AWS, it could be Azure, it could be GCP. The second thing is that while it's very relatively easy to deploy something in the cloud, it is a little bit more difficult to make sure that when you are paying for something in the cloud, you're actually using it to the full extent. And this is why we also help customers to optimize their existing workloads and maximize their resource utilization. And it's very important to mention that resource utilization, it doesn't necessarily have to be just a technical thing. It could be a technical thing. It could be that you're just deploying too big of infrastructure and you are requesting too big of demands from your engineering teams, but in reality, you're not using it to 100%. Think about a VM or a Kubernetes cluster that you have deployed, and right now is just using 40% of the capacity that you actually deployed because somebody requested, but the rest of the 60% is just sitting there idle, and you're still paying for it. Another concept is that in the cloud, there is also a way to actually get commitments just to lower your unit price. But when you commit to this kind of a reduction, you are actually committing to run them 24/7. If not, you're actually paying for a commitment that you're not using. So you're just wasting money. We're able to actually help those two kinds of resource utilization. The last thing is that we can enable automatically and integrate with any kind of lifecycle on the public cloud. And then customers can actually take advantage of even the more volatile and cost-effective components without decreasing any service level availability or increasing operational overhead. The idea is that the Spot platform will automatically guarantee the SLA while at the back end automating and provisioning all of the consumption of the cloud assets. And because we can actually guarantee your SLA automatically, it means that you can use whatever the cloud can offer you at the best effective cost, and also even reduce your operational overhead because simply you don't need to maintain it on a daily basis. We just call it a serverless experience. The idea is that you can focus on your business initiative and your main services and core applications, and we will automate the compute infrastructure for you. Next slide, please. So just again, about to reiterate the business values, there are a lot of challenges on the cloud. There are a lot of businesses, solutions that we provide on the business level. I just want to highlight the three top ones. The first thing is all about the automation and our ability to run with your infrastructure. Whatever infrastructure, whatever architecture you're already running right now, from monolithic application, traditional application that you probably just lifted and shifted into the cloud, that were existing before that, and down to the cloud native microservices, Kubernetes, and containerized space, we can actually offer a continuously automated solution for optimization, and the savings is actually up to 80% of the cost. When I say up to 80%, obviously depending on the use case, but our average is around 70%, which is amazing, especially when you can think about that this is automated for you. It's not something that you have to apply yourself, it's an automated solution. One more thing is we are talking about a turnkey enterprise grade solution. When we talk about automation and when we talk about especially optimization, it's all about the return on investment and the time to value. Because if it will take you 6 months to develop something and maintain it, and it will require so much attention from your technical resources, from your DevOps team, that they cannot focus on anything else, then you're actually losing money, because you might be able to save some money on the cloud bill, but you're losing this in times of effort, and actually you're not hitting your core business objectives. This is why time to value is very important. Our platform is actually facilitated in a way that it will be very easy to consume and to scale, and the time to value is well under 30 days. I can actually talk about specific scenarios with customers who onboarded our solution, and they started with pre-production environments, and they were able to migrate the entire pre-production environment to us over a single night. They will let it run to see that the SLA is running, and then after 1 week, they schedule again a one-time effort to roll out their entire production environment to us. From that moment, it's fully automated. Now, because I mentioned already production environments and SLA, this is also very, very important. When we're talking about enterprises, when we're talking about business applications, and especially production grade applications, it's very important that you will have the SLA guarantee. We can actually provide you end-to-end coverage from staging all the way to production, because we guarantee the 4 nines SLA that you would normally get from the public cloud, no matter what kind of infrastructure we're automating for you behind the scenes. And we can also provide 24/7 support, which is proactive, and you can get a response within under 60 seconds from an engineer. Next slide, please. Let's just talk about a little bit about the product suite and the portfolio. So like we mentioned, we're talking about the public cloud space. On the southbound, you can actually see the 3 major hyperscalers we support: AWS, GCP, and Azure. Now, the idea is that we will provide just a software layer. We don't provide any instances of our own. We don't provide any infrastructure or accounts of our own. We are always operating within your existing cloud environment, just with API, basically. And the idea is to provide you 2 things. The first thing is to get you a better visibility to what is going on, especially in the cloud, but more importantly, how much you can optimize with us. We have a utility called Cloud Analyzer, which we offer free to all of our customers. And then you can just connect and get a read-only analysis to see how we can actually help you with automation. When we talk about automation, we actually have 2 kinds of automation. On the left-hand side, we have active capacity management. This is a FinOps approach that will actually not interfere with your infrastructure. Instead, it will take a look of how we can actually automate and optimize just your consumption in terms of billing. This is just a financial construct, which makes it very easy to consume. On the right-hand side, we have a DevOps approach, which is proactive infrastructure optimization. The idea there is that we will be able to actually link to your existing business application based on either virtual machines or containerized environments, and then actually end-to-end automate and provision the infrastructure for you. Can you click on the slide, please? Okay, so it's very important to mention again, when we talk about the different flavors of the solution, when we talk about the FinOps approach, we're talking about 0 engineering effort. The reason is because it will not affect your existing infrastructure. Again, it's just a purely financial solution. Also, as a result, it's a really immediate onboarding and results. When we're talking about onboarding and results, it means that within a couple of weeks, you should already be able to get between 40 to 50% savings on your compute infrastructure, and you don't even get any risk while doing it, because we can automate the consumption of the commitments for you. So you don't have to worry about what happens when it's underutilized. When it's underutilized, we will just scale it down based on your environment. We see in a lot of situations where companies, they want to apply these kinds of FinOps based optimization, but then they come into a very, very long discussion between the FinOps side of things, the financial side of things, and the DevOps side of things in engineering. The engineering wants to innovate. They want to roll out. They want to do new architecture. They want to get better infrastructure for them. But in some cases, commitments can actually hinder this, because when you commit to something, you need to use it. We are enabling to actually remove this kind of a barrier, because instead of engineering following what finance wants to do just to save cost, the idea is that our financial tooling will follow what engineering needs to do just to do better innovation and better services. This is also a very low entry barrier for companies, especially enterprises, and especially on production grade environments, because at the end of the day, it's non-disruptive. It will not touch the infrastructure. It will just allow you to save money doing the exact same thing that you were doing so far. Can you click again? Now, on the DevOps side of things, we're talking about the exactly opposite. This is a very highly technical solution. It will actually integrate with your application, probably with your CI and CD pipelines. The idea is to provide you fully automated and SLA guaranteed workloads with at least 73% savings on average. The idea is that this will actually be working with the individual application owners or maybe the DevOps teams, and it will actually help to accelerate the modern application projects that you might have right now. If we can talk about a company that right now is running on the public cloud, a lot of monolithic applications, but everybody knows that the trend right now is actually to do a modern application approach, to run it on containerized environments or just cloud-ready workloads. The idea is because we're able to actually help you to automate the provisioning of those kind of applications. We can guarantee the SLA, and also we can make sure that there is an efficient as possible. It will actually make it easier for you to just do this approach. Next slide, please. So I think maybe it's very important to mention how exactly we're able to do this. Now, the main reason we're able to do this is just because of our experience and our data and our footprint within the market. We are running more than 1,500 global customers. A lot of them are in the ASEAN region, obviously. We are running more than 5 billion compute running hours across all of the public cloud vendors in the different regions, and closer right now to 1 million concurrent managed nodes per month. The thing that we can actually do about all of this, because we have been running this for more than 6 years already, is that we have a lot of data. We actually have so much data about the public cloud infrastructure that it will be virtually impossible for a single customer or a single company to try to do it themselves, just because they are not exposed to this kind of a data. Now, how we manipulate this data is the following. If we can click the next slide, please. We can apply it in a very efficient way. Just before that, let's go a step back and talk about the specific ways to consume public cloud resources in the compute space. Now, this is cloud agnostic, but let's just talk about on the high level. There are 3 main ways to actually purchase and use cloud resources. The first one is just on demand. It's list price. Companies call it just pay as you go, for example. The idea there is exactly as it's consumption based. You want a server, you want infrastructure, all you have to do is spin it up, and then you're paying for it based on usage. There is SLA guaranteed. You can scale up and scale down, because this is the main thing about the cloud, that there should always be resources available for you to scale up. And also you should have the ability to scale down. The biggest thing about this is a very, very expensive per unit cost, extremely expensive. The second thing to actually do is reserve capacity. A lot of companies, the first thing that they will try to do is just to get some reserve capacity. The idea there is that you can actually commit to use a specific amount of usage, a specific workload for either 1 year or 3 years. You're actually committing to use it 24/7, no matter what. And in return, you just get a per unit cost reduction. You just get a flat savings based on how much it would cost to run it 24/7 on demand. The main problem with this is it's much, much less flexible. When you commit to something, you're actually commit to the consumption, which means that even if you want to scale down, because you simply don't need this cloud asset anymore, you will still be paying for this. This will actually improve your per unit cost, but it will actually result in much, much less flexibility. The last thing is excess capacity or spot instances, spot VMs. Now, excess capacity is something that the cloud hyperscalers, they put there by default. The idea is because they want you to be able to always scale up with on-demand, they also have to pre-provision excess capacity within their data centers. Those kinds of excess capacity or spot instances, how they're called probably, provide something very, very unique. You have the ability to actually get those instead of just on-demand. Basically, you're getting the same infrastructure, the same servers, the same exact specifications. The main difference is about the SLA. It's very, very risky because there is no SLA. By default, those servers are actually given to you at a very discount level of between 70 to 90% discount. But on the off chance that at any given moment, somebody else could be using it as on demand, and in that given moment, you will be evicted from this infrastructure. You will get between 30 seconds to 2 minutes notice. And after this time expires, you will just be evicted from the servers. This means that you actually needs to be in charge of the SLA of the infrastructure that you're running and not the public hyperscaler. This is why you need a real-time automation framework to actually apply the SLA if you want to do this. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is, I think, the secret to what we're able to do. The idea of Spot is that we can actually take a look and we have all of the data to what is going on a specific region, in a specific hyperscaler in any part of the world. We can automatically take this data and we can create a real-time score of all of those spot instances and spot markets within a region. So for example, if we talk about AWS region in Singapore that will have 3 availability zones, any type of instance type there, any type of instance would be M5 or T2 or T3, and also the sizes and everything like that. You can get an automatic real-time scoring of the health of this market. A market is just a combination of a specific machine type in a specific availability zone within a region. Now, what we're able to do is to assign this real-time score to reflect both the pricing and also what are the chances of those spots being taken away in the recent upcoming amount of time. We can take this kind of information, and at the same time, we can read out the metadata of your existing applications and configuration running in the cloud. Then, because we can actually integrate with any kind of lifecycle, spot instances, reserved instances, and on demand, we do something we call application-driven provisioning, meaning all we need is to get the requirements in terms of CPU and memory that you need to run your services, and then we can automatically take a very well-educated decision what kind of infrastructure to apply. We will primarily try to do spot instances. This is an architectural thing because for spot instances, your application needs to be stateless, which means that if you can actually provision a new instance in this 2 minutes notice, you can drain the traffic and the workload to the new instance and just kill off the old instance. Your business continuity will not be affected because there is no state hosted within the exact VM. This is very applicable for web applications, mobile applications, anything which is stateless, and primarily also with microservices and cloud native services such as Kubernetes or containers environments. When we identify workloads that are not suitable to run on spot instances, then we can automatically go ahead and give you coverage based on commitments. It could be reserved instances or savings plans, any kind of commitment available. Right now, we can do it automatically for you. The most important thing is that we will guarantee the SLA of your service. We will be able to scale it up and down based on your actual demand. And also, we will be using still on-demand instances, but just as a fallback to guarantee the SLA. So the actual effect is that if companies right now they depend primarily on demand provisioning with maybe a baseline of reserved instances and commitment levels, we can actually flip the switch. We can use the cloud the way it was intended, meaning that on-demand instances are just there to guarantee that no matter what, you get capacity. But in all likelihood, more than 95% of the running hours should be not on demand. This way, you know that you can scale, you're automated, you're efficient, and your SLA is still there. Next slide, please. So we just call it CloudOps. And CloudOps, again, we talked about DevOps in the previous session by Suze. Everybody, I think, is quite aware of the whole DevOps approach. The idea is to create a CI and CD pipeline that will take care of automatically releasing and running more efficiently and just help you to innovate and deploy faster and better code. What happens is that when you roll out into production, there is also a continuous operation or continuous optimization, because the idea of a production, it's always there, but the cloud will change something. So you need to facilitate this kind of change. At the same time, there's also FinOps, making sure that you have the best visibility, governance, and basically the cost management of the platform. CloudOps is actually a mixture of both. And the idea is to actually help you to monitor your application and deploy it all the way to production, making sure that you have the best kind of CI and CD pipeline and the best applications possible at the lowest possible cost. Next slide, please. I think here we just need to click a bunch of times, because at the end of the day, it's all about what kind of architecture you're running in the cloud. We segmentize 3 high-level use cases. The first one is monolithic traditional applications that are persistent in terms of state. Probably they're lift and shift into the cloud, or database layers, or everything like that. Then we have elastic applications. Elastic applications are probably AMI-based applications, but they are auto-scaling. They're scaling up, they're scaling down, they're load balanced to some degree, and they should be stateless, which means that if we can actually provision another VM or AMI with a heads of time automatically, your service will still remain up. Cloud native services is, again, the latest trend for microservices, containerized environment, Kubernetes environments. Basically, we support all of them on all of the 3 major public clouds. We can control EKS on Amazon or ECS, AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service on Azure, and the GKE on Google. We can also support, by the way, any kind of control plane, such as Rancher, for example, or Docker Swarm. The idea is that we will be able to actually take the control plane that you bring and you're already using, and we will manage the data plane there. The nice thing about the platform is that it will allow you a very, very smooth transition into your cloud transformation. We can start again with Cloud Analyzer, that is just a utility there to show you what we're doing right now and help you with the use case segmentation, seeing what kind of application you're running right now and what are the automation mechanisms for us to help you. And then based on the actual use cases, we can decide what are the best products. Eco is for monolithic. This is the FinOps approach, because primarily, especially on production grade environment, you will not be able to sustain a replacement probably. But for everything that can sustain a replacement, this is why we have Elastic Group and Ocean, just to help you there. The idea there is to provide you just end-to-end serverless experience in terms of provisioning infrastructure, while we guarantee your SLA. We help you with all of the scaling activities and everything that you need to do in terms of technical resource provisioning, and at the same time, significantly reduce your cost. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think this is a very, very important high-level slide, because the cloud, even though it's here and everybody is adopting the cloud, it's all about a journey and a process. The vast majority of the companies will still have a mixture of kind of infrastructure and kind of architectures. A lot of them also are still right now in a migration to the cloud. It could be that they're still migrating applications from on-premise to the cloud. Maybe they're switching between clouds, or maybe they are already migrated, but they're still running very traditional lift and shift. What we see here is usually the process will start again on this kind of a journey, is that first of all, you will deploy whatever you have just right now on the cloud, because this is the most important thing. The most important thing is to have whatever you have right now on the cloud and see that it's working in terms of functionality. After the functionality is there, and this will start with a test or a POC environment, and then a development and staging environment, and then production. And then because it's production, we will be very, very careful. It means that it will be a long time running there without any optimization. Because first of all, we want to assure the business continuity and our services, and then we worry about the cost. This is why usually only after a very, very long period of time, the focus will shift toward optimization, right sizing, scheduling policies, reserve capacity, maybe modern architecture, things like that. But because of this, it will actually be very, very time consuming. It will take you a lot of time to actually scale. The idea is that we will help you to accelerate this kind of a process because, first of all, Eco can give you 0-day savings. It will actually lower the entry level and the footprint to actually go to the public cloud because you know that no matter what kind of architecture you're running, you can already get some savings that will actually not interfere with the infrastructure. It will provide you flexibility to just get a better price point right now and then focus about what is your initiative. If you want to do newer projects, newer applications, modern application, then it's fine. If you still have applications that you just want to remain the same way as it was running on the cloud because of some business or architectural constraint, then they can still be running, but on a better pricing. Then with Ocean and also Elastic Group, then on an application level basis, we can work with the customer success team that we provide alongside your application owners and subject matter experts to actually determine if we can automate the provisioning. Then you will just get the full benefits of the cloud, the auto scaling, the auto healing, the replacement, and obviously also the cost. Next slide, please. Okay, so I didn't take a lot of time. If possible, I would like to also run like a product overview on the portfolio of the products. Is this possible? Or should we just go ahead to the Q&A? I'm not sure.
Would you want us to go back, sir, to your product portfolio slide?
So how much time do we still have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes.
So I think in this case, let's just go to the Q&A section because I see that we have a couple of questions. Is this okay?
Yes. Yep. It's all right.
Okay, so I just need to read them through. The first question by Chris is, how does NetApp Cloud Insight differ from other brands? So this is a very important question, and the main thing about Spot, and not necessarily just Cloud Insight, is all about the automation. There are a lot of companies and a lot of vendors, and even the hyperscalers, they will provide you some kind of an insight to what is going on in the cloud. They will get very detailed visibility and dashboarding and even a list of actionable guidance. But at the end of the day, this is where they usually stop. They will give you a list of guidance and requirements that you as the application owner or as the customer need to implement yourself. This will actually mean that it will probably take you a lot of time and effort, and also you're responsible for this. They just stop at giving you a guidance and that's it. The whole business and value proposition of Spot is actually to drive down the automation for you and drive down the optimization on your behalf. So I think this is the main thing. The idea is that if you apply our solution, then you should be actually getting an automated solution that will make sure you're optimized and also make sure that your SLA is still up. This, I think, are the two main things between us and other brands. The second question is by Jose, I think. Since our current business direction is going to the cloud and considering that most of the business here in the Philippines are small, medium size, does NetApp have an entry-level solution that we can offer to these business sizes, which can be later upgraded to higher solution when their business or data grows? Okay, that's another great question. So the answer for this is yes. On the business perspective, we actually have our own pay-as-you-go or pay-as-you-save model. The idea, again, we are talking about a SaaS platform. First of all, there's also a freemium option for you as a customer to test it by yourself, to see how much you can actually already automate and optimize with us. It is not bound by time, it's only bound by scale. So you can definitely try to do it yourself there, especially for development environments, testing environments, anything which is non-production. Then when we talk about larger scales and production grade environments, we actually have two business models. One of them is called pay as you save. which means that at the end of each month, all we will be doing is just taking a portion from the realized savings we were able to automate for you. So the ROI is actually there, and it's a very good engine for you to scale with us. For larger organizations, we can also provide an annual subscription. Again, our business model is always success-based. The idea is that the only thing we will be charging for is our results, how much we were able to drive to you in terms of savings over a period of time, either month by month or on an annual basis. Next question. Noted Zilliqa on the partner slide. I'm sorry, this is not a partner slide, this is a customer slide. But how can NetApp help in the improvement of the blockchain technology as cryptocurrency right now is getting some media attention? That's another great question. We have a lot of customers in this space. We don't have partners in this space, but if there is a partner here that have a lot of those customers, then we can definitely help. At the end of the day, the Spot by NetApp solution is business agnostic or sector agnostic. At the end of the day, all we need is to help customers with their compute infrastructure. We know that blockchain is booming right now, and also blockchain as well as AI companies or maybe e-commerce, everything, they will use a lot of public cloud assets. A lot of public cloud assets and primarily compute. Compute could be a CPU or even GPU when we're talking about blockchain as well, or AI. Those are very, very costly components. The vast majority of those companies' investment will be on compute. And this is exactly how we can help them optimize, because we can slash down their prices by anywhere between, let's say, 40% to 70, 80% without them compromising on their service level availability. Zilliqa is just one example. They're using us. They signed with us within 1 month after we started the engagement, and they're very, very happy with our services. Does NetApp Spot for Spot instances can manage to migrate in 1 year without going over budget, and how it is done? Okay, so this is another great question. The way we can actually assure a budget is that at the end of the day, we are always guaranteeing the success of our customers. Because what we will be doing to our customers is that we will be able to manage whatever they already have right now at the best optimal price. Which means if a customer right now has a 1-year migration plan, and right now they had this kind of like a budget allocation. They said it will cost me this amount because I will start by running on-demand machines. This is the list price for on-demand. Maybe I'll try to do some right sizing. Maybe I will try to do some reserved instances, some commitments, and try to apply spot instances where it is applicable. What we will be able to do is exactly the kind of a journey that we saw in the outline of the presentation. First of all, is that as soon as they start, they can go away from on-demand pricing straight into commitments. Those are not actually commitments because we're able to actually buy and sell the commitments on our customers' behalf and just get them savings when they're using it. So automatically, they're already lowering their budget on the entry level. At the same time, we are basically, maybe not the official, but unofficially, the subject matter experts in terms of spot instances. We can actually guarantee the SLA in production grade environments. We also have a lot of use cases and case studies of where we've shown customers who already tried to do spot-based implementation, how we can actually help them to scale this and at a better, more effective cost. At the end of the day, we should be able to actually work with those kind of customers and actually expand significantly how many spot instances they can actually use in terms of the overall infrastructure that they're running. And the last piece of the puzzle is, again, our business model is always based on the realized savings, which means that a company could start with us for a few months. They can start with a pay-as-you-save model that by default will mean that their month-to-month budget just on IT, on the compute infrastructure will go down, because if it doesn't go down, it means that we have not saved and we did not charge them. And then they can go also to like a 1-year plan or a multi-year plan with us just to get more visibility and line of sight to budget allocation.